Hi everybody. Today we are going to be talking about factoring when the value of a is no longer 1. So in previous lessons we have talked about factoring something like x squared plus 5x plus 4, and so that it turns into x plus 4 and x plus 1, something like that, where our leading coefficient, the number in front of x squared, is an invisible 1. Well, now that number is no longer going to be a 1. So we're going to start off with a number other than 1 at the front of our trinomial each time. So when we go to factor these, there's some additional information that we need to look at, some additional steps that we're going to have to do, and most likely we're going to be dealing with some slightly larger numbers. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to multiply. Let me get my highlighter working here. We are going to multiply the first and last terms. So A and C are going to be multiplied together. So I have an example here that says 2x squared plus 5x equals 2, plus 2. And we're going to take those 2's and we are going to multiply them together. So 2 times 2 is equal to 4. And then we are going to find the factors of 4. So that multiplying of 2 times 2, we're going to find factors of 4. And then we are going to look for numbers that add together to equal b. So that part doesn't change. We're still going to add together to equal the middle number. So that is where we are going to start. So factors of 4 that add together to equal 5. So we've been doing factors for a while. Since I can highlight this real fast, since both of my signs are positive, I can tell you right now, both of my factors are going to be positive. So we don't have to double list. We don't have to do like 1, -1, 4, -4. We can just say 1 and 4 is an option, and 2 and 2 is an option. Now we know 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So that tells me, obviously, that 1 and 4 are my options. 1 and 4 are my options. Now, if we have larger numbers or you are struggling with finding your factors, you can do this in the calculator as well. So in my calculator, and this is just a screenshot, I'm going to do this on a video as well. I'm going to go to the graphing tool, which is where y equals is. So y equals is in the top left corner of your calculator. And you will type in 4, which is our factor that we're looking for, 4, and then divided by x. And then we have a list when we hit second and table, or second and graph, I should say, second and graph. And that gives us our factors. And the factors are going to be the ones that have only whole numbers. So 1 and 4 is a factor, 2 and 2 is a factor. Well, we know 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. And 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So we want the one that adds to equal 5. So our two factors are 1 and 4. Okay, so we are going to look at using the calculator to find our factors when we are factoring, especially when we are having to factor when a, or our leading coefficient, isn't 1. So in order to do that, I'm going to use my TI-84 Plus calculator here. If you have a TI-83 or you have a TI Inspire, all of these steps are going to be, for the most part, pretty similar. If you have a different type of calculator, come and see me in class and we can figure out what the actual steps are going to be. So in order to do this, I'm going to hit y equals, that top left button on your calculator. And it's going to give me the ability to type equations in. I can put them on a graph. I really just want to type the equations in and look at a table of information so I can compare the numbers. So this first example that we were working on, we needed to find factors of 4. So I'm going to put 4 as the number I'm trying to find factors of, divided by button, and then I'm going to hit the button for x, which is right next to that green alpha button, alpha meaning for alphabet, but the button right next to it has x, t, and then what looks like a 0 with a line through it and an n. That's what I want. So I'm going to click that x button. So I should have 4 divided by x in my calculator. And then I'm going to hit second, which is the big blue button in the upper left-hand corner, and then graph in the top right-hand corner. If you notice, just above that in blue, it says table. We're looking for that table. That's what we want to see. So here I have my table of information. It's X is going to represent what number is dividing 4, and then the Y1 column is going to give me what the factors are. So X, I want an X and a Y that are both whole numbers that are going to divide 4. So my two options here are 1 and 4 and 2 and 2. If we scroll down, all of these decimals are just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. You're not going to have a factor that is larger than the number you started with originally. So we're not going to have any numbers larger than 4. And so 1 and 4, 2 and 1, and you'll see 4 and 1, they will repeat because 4 times 1 is 4, but also 1 times 4 is 4. So 1 and 4 added together, 1 plus 4 is 5. So that is the factor that we are looking for that has a sum of 5. So 1 and 4. Remember that, 1 and 4. Now we're also going to be working with reverse box method here. And so we look at our original equation, and we have two pieces to that. We have the 2x squared that is going to go in this top left box, and we have the 2 on the end, and that's going to go in the top left box, and bottom right box. So 2x squared and then a 2. Now our factors, the numbers that we found, the 1 and 4, are going to go in the other two boxes with an x next to it. So 1x, or you can just put x, and 4x. So we have the boxes filled in, but we need to figure out when we did box method, remember across the top and across the side, we had x's and numbers. So we need to figure out what is going to go there. So I'm going to individually look for the GCF, the greatest common factor, of each column and each row. So I'm going to start with the right-hand side. So 1x and 2. The greatest common factor between those is just going to be a 1, and we're going to make it a positive 1, because both of those are positive. Along the bottom, 4x and 2, those are going to have a greatest common factor of 2. So we have a positive 2. Looking at the left column, 2x squared and 4x. 2 and 4 have a common factor of 2. X squared and x have a factor of x. And then lastly, 2x squared and 1x, those just have a common factor of x. So our factored answer is 2x plus 1, the statement across the top, and x plus 2, the statement down the side. So we have this one, and those are going to go over here for our final answer.